Why is our 269 October All Access special one of our best deals ever? Let us count the ways. 5 college football Saturdays, 5 NFL Sundays, full month of MLB playoffs, NHL starts October 12th, NBA season starts October 19th, plus any other sport your favorite handicap releases, all for under $9 a day. As an added bonus, sign up early and get the rest of September included for free.
Welcome into First Pitch for September 29th. It's the Wednesday card. We're breaking it down. I'm your host, Drew Martin, joined by Matt Josephs of SportsMemo.com and Tony Finn of WagerTalk.com. We got 4 games on the docket. Best bets at the end. Welcome in on the chat box, the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Feel free to chime in. Whatever you're betting, whatever you're looking to hear about, and where you're watching. We're interested in getting it out here on the show. First up, Matt Joseph, SportsMemo.com. Follow him on Twitter at Mid-Major Matt. Welcome to the show, buddy. How you feeling?
Feeling good, Drew. I got a couple of season win total bets that are coming down to the wire here towards the end. Some player props as well that are coming down towards the end. And, of course, the K-props have been going really well. So looking forward to dropping some knowledge today.
Absolutely. We got MLB playoffs right around the corner and some contested battles here, Tony, we're going to be talking about. It's a good time to be a MLB bettor. Welcome to the show. I know you're excited.
Yes, I am. My mantra, it's good morning, good afternoon, good day, wherever you might be. I woke up in my orbit. That's a good day. It's a damn good day. Let's get it on.
Tony just win, baby Finn, Tijuana Tony. However we're calling him, let us know in the chat box what's your favorite. As interested to get his analysis as always. Guys, first game up. First of 4 that we're breaking down here. Milwaukee Brewers and St. Louis Cardinals. Matt, we have to talk about this one. The 3rd longest winning streak in the 21st century. The St. Louis Cardinals only behind the 2017 Cleveland Indians that went 20-plus wins and the 2002 Moneyball Oakland A's. So they're trying to reel those teams in, but they've also just clinched their NL wildcard slot. So in terms of, a little bit of a tricky handicap in the sense it's kind of a unique handicap. We get Hauser versus Mikolas going for the Redbirds, and near a pick'em price here, Matt, with a total of 8. You liking anything in St. Louis tonight?
I mean, there's nothing you can play right now. I'll say that right now. You have to wait till the lineups come out because, as you said, the Cardinals clinched. I know the win streaks mean a lot, but keeping guys healthy and for that wild card game is also important. You also don't know how long the starting pitchers are going to go, whether it's, let's just get Mikolas a couple of innings tonight so that way he's fresh and ready to go and who's going to be available and things like that. So you really can't. I mean, I would, on face value, I would lean to Milwaukee here because St. Louis clinched and we know what the lineups usually are and we know usually how these teams are the night afterwards. So I would just say wait until the lineups. If you see a lot of minor leaguers in this one, then you maybe lean towards Milwaukee, who needs to get into better form. But I can't make any sort of plays until I at least see the lineups from both teams.
Sure. And before we get to Tony, Matt, want to just ask a follow-up question? You said if we see a lot of minor league names with the expanded roster, maybe look to bet the Brewers. What if we do see an A lineup for the Cardinals? Does that mean value on the Redbirds, in your opinion?
I would say that, yes. I mean, you look, some of the guys have good numbers against Hauser. Paul Goldschmidt's 6 of 20 with 2 homers, so that's a guy you may want to target if you play the total bases prop or you do DFS and things like that. It really depends on, Drew. I mean, I usually think these press conferences the managers have before the game are worthless for the most part, but maybe, they come out and say, all right, these guys are going to start, but they're going to get one at bat. We want to make sure they stay fresh. We're going to take them out and things like that. So just pay attention to the lineups and what the manager says before the game, and that'll kind of help you decide what to do with the actual game itself.
Sure. Good stuff from Matt Josephs leading us off. And Tony, really fascinating handicap overall, man. Interested in your thoughts in St. Louis tonight.
Bravo, Matt. At this point of the season and the game, money line in this instance reflects such. The Cardinals, they're in the middle of a historic run. And all things equal, I do mean historic. Those of us who religiously follow baseball, like a crypto addict follows the price of currency, or maybe Mr. Aurora and Ms. Lemon react to the rumor of an underground lab attempting to replicate Quaaludes. Know that no matter what happens, looking at this pitching rotation of the Cardinals, putting together a winning streak as they have is historic. And what they're doing from this point forward, as Matt just said, if you're interested in putting some money on it, then you probably want to do more than I want to do it, because it matters none. Not worthy of one drop of my blood, sweat, tears, not to spend a penny's worth of time handicapping the Cards versus whomever, because with my under 86.5 season win total on the Cardinals, which was absolutely destroyed over the last 3 weeks, I can't help, but just want to fade, punch anybody that's wearing a cap of the St. Louis Cardinals, et cetera, et cetera. In seriously, I think we should start a pool, Matt. You guys, let's just start a pool. At the end of if the Cardinals win tonight, we'll start a pool. Everybody just throws in 20. We will mark the date and the time of the next Cardinals loss. The closest one to win that, and when it's an official game, wins the pool. That to me, thinking that much and when of the matches they have left, they're going to lose, is probably easier than figuring this team out right now. Or even the Brewers, as Matt said. Listen, they've loosened, they've lessened pitch counts for these Cardinals or these Brewers starters. This is a difficult weekend to handicap baseball. Period. Especially these two teams, in my opinion.
Sure. And Tony, I mean, difficult doesn't always mean not profitable, though, because if you get some of these angles. Not. Yeah, right. So that's something that I think needs to be, if you're new to betting baseball and you got the time to do it and dig, you can make some money here. Yeah,
I think the key there was time, and between the three of us, I think we all know that there's our party in my neighborhood, and it's a TY BO party. It's thank God baseball's over almost party. It's on Sunday, and they drew names to see. We're gonna have like 4 or 5 TVs. You get to choose the show that they're gonna do on demand and what do they do? Whatever they call them, show old shows. And somebody purchased, an old guy like me chose Dark Shadows, the original soap opera. When we rolled, it was 3 channels, and when you came home from school, you got to watch Dark Shadows. Somebody picked Dallas. Another person picked some Disney show, which I have no idea what it is. I didn't win, but I would have. This is what I would have chosen. I would have chosen Matt and Worst Cooks. That's what I'd put on there. Matt's Worst Cooks show. And we would drink some margaritas and watch Matt on the Worst Cooks shows. That's a Sunday party, brother. And that's the time I want to spend. Really, I want to watch football. Spend a lot more time on that. That's where we're at. It's coin flip on a lot of this stuff. Drew, you're right. But if you're into that, if you're into those coin flips and finding that angle, that profitable angle, it's there somewhere. I'm just not sure I want to spend like I said, the blood, sweat, and tears finding it.
Absolutely. Appreciate everybody that watched yesterday and the comments below on the show. Also a shout out to the chat box. We got Jessica in the house, Michael as well. We got Adam, all of you guys, welcome in and feel free to chime in. What you're looking to bet. And to Tony's point, when the Cardinals might lose their next game, Tyler Lasno fan club as well. Let us know below in the comments on YouTube when the Cardinals are dropping the next one. Heck, might be tonight, might not be all the way till the World Series. Who knows how far this can go. As we got next game up, guys, we are heading to the AL East and talking about the New York Yankees and Toronto Blue Jays. We get the Blue Jays and the Yanks about even price here, guys. Seeing minus 105 on each side. To good pitching matchup with Berrios and Cole. Tony, coming to you first. What are we liking here, Jays and Yanks?
People are going to think I'm drinking already this morning, but here I go. Cole versus Berrios. At first glance, guys, the money line on this event at any other time of the year, time of season rather, would or should be investigated, meaning something's amiss. Cole versus Berrios is essentially in a pick 'em. Maybe Cole at 55 versus Berrios' son or daughter pitching. It'd be a pick. But don't feed me any crap about this game. Mano is a pick based on the starting pitching, the bullpens of these two teams, or the experience in the form of the current lineups. A blind squirrel in search of an acorn, an overweight pig who rolled over and found a truffle. A fin follower who found a lemon at 714. Blind, inebriated, almost paralyzed, with a smile on their face. Cole, like real estate, location. Cole and the Yankees, Cole and the Yankees, Cole and the Yankees. That's simple.
I like it. All right, AL East here. It's an important one, Matt. in terms of, playoff standings. Bunch of teams, not a bunch, but what, 4 teams for 2 slots is what I think it's coming down to here. What are you liking in the AL wildcard race here in the Blue Jays and Yankees?
Well, I'm hoping the Yankees keep winning because then, and Boston too, if they can start winning, because I got a no on Toronto to not make the playoffs from the preseason that I'd like to cash at even money. I think a lot of people are talking about Cole here, and the thing I think that Cole's going to give them tonight, even if he's not pitching well, is it's going to have to be length. After Tyon left the game early, you're going to see a guy like Cole have to go 5+ innings. I know Boone likes to play with the bullpen and likes to make some maneuvers and things like that and take the manager job very seriously, but I think Cole tonight's going to have to go 6 innings. And I think I saw, if I remember correctly, that there's some decent props on Cole's outs. I know there's some books out there that do that sort of thing. And I think he's going to have to give them length tonight, whether he's good or not. He might have to eat some innings. So that's something to look for. And I had somebody ask me in the chat about Cole's K-prop, and I don't think the value's there. I think the value's on the other side. Anytime I can get a reasonable number against the Yankees when it comes to strikeouts, you look at Berrios, he had 8 strikeouts against the Yankees in New York just a couple of weeks ago. And I'm pulling up my number here. The Yankees are 7th in K rate against right-handers, 10th on the road. There's a very pitcher-friendly umpire tonight in Morales, and he's got a very nice K-boost here. So I actually think the value is more on Jose Berrios' K-prop over than on Garrett Cole's K-prop over, although I do think Cole's going to give them a lengthy outing in this one.
And Matt, that was interesting with the props there. So there's sports books. I love the evolution of sports betting here. You can bet on how many outs he gets that night. So like yes. Garrett Cole with what, he goes 6 innings, 18. What if it was 19? Garrett Cole 19 outs. Would you bet the over or the under?
I would say I think he's going to have to give them length. And I'm looking, he's had some short outings here, and I'm trying to pull it up as we look here so I could see. Cole's is actually 18.5 in the one book I know that does it. So that means 6 1/3 tonight. I think he's going to have to do that. I just think, look, you paid $1 gazillion for Garrett Cole to be your ace. This is the night he has to pitch like an ace. It's at even money towards the over. That makes it even more tasty just to throw like a unit on or something, a half a unit, just because I think that after yesterday, they need to rest the bullpen a little bit and use the ace, the guy they spent $1 bazillion on.
That's awesome. I just threw the number of 19 out there off the top of my head, but if it's 18.5, I get why they did that, because it's the end of the 6th inning. Is he going to come out and get an out in the next one? But at even money, I really like this over, Matt. I think we're onto something. Unless, is his numbers against the Blue Jays, kind of middle of the pack, or is he kind of dominating him? Because if he's dominating them, I think there's real value on that over, man.
Well, earlier this month, he went 3 2/3 at home against them, gave up 3 runs and 5 hits, so that's not very good. Back in June 16th, he went 8 innings in Toronto, gave up 2 runs and 4 hits, and then he faced them twice in April, but I can't really take April. April Toronto and current Toronto are completely different. He went 5 1/3 and 6 innings in those 2 games, though.
Okay. And Tony, sorry to cut you off, man. Did you have something?
No. I was going to say, Matt makes a good point. There's a conundrum here also. The Yankees still want to win. While I don't think it's as desperate it was starting last weekend when they had that 3-game start or series against Boston. But if you trust Cole like I trust Cole, if he had a directive, as Matt just suggested, to give them length, this guy's he's a great pitcher, and he knows how to pitch to contact and not worry about having those heavy pitch innings because he struck out the side. So again, in Matt's stating this case now to go length, I would agree with him 100%. I would be under Cole's strikeout prop, knowing that if they've asked him to go length, it's going to be because he's pitching to contact. Absolutely.
Good stuff from Tony Finn and mid-major Matt here, guys. 2 games down, 2 to go. Plus we got best bets at the end. Next game up here, we're talking number 1 and number 2 in the American League. Possible AL Championship Series preview here. We get Tampa Bay, the Rays at the Houston Astros, Garcia versus Rasmussen. It looks like minus 125 right now. The Houston Astros at home. Total of 9 in Minute Maid here, Matt. Couple things, just to bring up in terms of just, there's a 5-game difference in between these two right now for home field advantage if they were to meet in the championship series. So I guess there technically is still something to play for. Other than that, though, Matt, these are kind of just games that aren't really going to do much for the playoffs. How much are you factoring that into your handicap? And what are you thinking tonight, Tampa Bay and Houston?
I mean, look, it's a Rays team. I feel like that doesn't know how to turn it off, and it feels like a Rays team that even if they start playing their backups, like everybody on the Rays knows their roles. And I go back to I don't know when they lost Tyler Glass. Now I said on this show, I was like, if there's a team in the country in Major League Baseball who could survive not having their ace, it's Tampa Bay, because they all know what they're supposed to do. Rasmussen's the guy who's going to come in. He's going to give him 5 innings. And then he's going to pass it off to the guy who knows that he's the 6th and 7th guy, and then so on and so forth. I mean, Eric Neander put together a roster of basically guys who play their roles. Are they the best at doing it? No, they're not the best at doing it, but they know what they're doing. And I feel like that comfort and that knowing that, hey, this is what my role is, makes it huge. And then you look at a guy like Garcia, and Garcia's had a solid year, but he's starting to kind of get a little tired, it looks like. You know, he goes 5 or 6 innings. He very rarely has gone over 6 innings. Over his last bunch of starts. So he's a guy that you know. And if you like Garcia, if you like Rasmussen, I would isolate the first 5 here. I think that you know, in this situation, and you guys talked about with the first game, you know, these pitchers are starting to shrink their roles a little bit. And if you want to deal with the only thing that you know is certain in this game, you know that Rasmussen's going to start for Tampa Bay, you know that Garcia's going to start for Houston, I would play a first 5 in this situation, because you know those starters are probably going to only last 5, and then the battle of the bullpens. And we know most times the Rays have the edge in the battle of the bullpens. So it all depends on which pitcher you like and how much and what you want to do with regards to that first 5 wager.
Good stuff, Matt. And Tony, coming to you. I mean, number 1 and number 2 in the American League. This is a big one. What are you liking?
Yeah, I agree with Matt. First off, you look at the box scores over the last week, what Houston's done and haven't done. You have to believe that Dusty's not real concerned about home field. He's just not. That he was concerned about winning this division, and they've pulled it off. They're going to win this division. I believe they are. And you'll see the bullpen. The pitchers that are coming after the starters, the Taylors, the Raleighs, the Matons, those guys, the back of the pitching staff is getting work, and everyone, almost everyone. In fact, we don't have it on today's card, but surprisingly, some teams preparing their staff for a postseason berth when they haven't even qualified for the playoffs yet. Rasmussen has faced 1 hitter from this Houston lineup in his career. 1. It's a nothing burger. I like Tampa Bay in this situation because of what Matt said. I think he's spot on. Tampa Bay is about as professional a baseball team as there are. They get to the clubhouse, they dress, they do whatever they do for their pregame superstitions, and they go to the field and they know what the role is. I'll take Tampa Bay at Minute Maid tonight with Rasmussen on the mound, who's only going to pitch, who's pitching the contact. We know he doesn't strike a lot of guys out to a team that makes contact. I like the chances of success. Give me Tampa Bay.
All right, liking the Rays there on the road in Minute Maid. We got last game up, but Matt, did want to ask you a handicapping question here. You bring up strikeout props. It's what your main focus is. You know it as good as anybody out there at this time in the year, because in your analysis you brought up different pitchers not going very deep, especially for playoff teams. Is your first look to K props towards the under right now?
Not necessarily. Actually, for my card tonight, I have 3 of my 4 are overs, and it's based off of how long I think the starting pitchers are going to go. Now, the best bet I'm going to do is my lone under of the day, but I mean, it all depends on who I'm trying to stay away from the younger guys, and knowing that certain guys are only going to go a couple of innings. I'm also trying to get in early on some of the things. Talking about Rasmussen real quick, I'll mention, DraftKings had 4.5 as his strikeout prop. Now, granted, the juice was not great, but if you look right now, it's 3.5. So the one thing I'll say is if you play the strikeout market, you want to get in early. Another strikeout prop I played was plus 150 this morning. It's now closer to even now. So if you are going to play this market, it's one of the first things you want to do. Before you even look at the sides and the totals, go look to the strikeout props, because they're going to move as the day goes along.
And when does the market open, and who's leading the market? And are other sports books just tailing that leader?
So, okay, I mean, I know we don't want to give promotion to everybody, but I'll say this because I think the people need to know the information. So here's the big three that I use are BetMGM, DraftKings, and FanDuel. FanDuel, what they've done for the most part is they take the market number, they raise it one, and they juice both sides ridiculously, which doesn't work out most times unless, like, look, if there's a guy tonight that I say, oh, I think he's going to have 7 strikeouts, and they juice him at 5.5 over, I'll take advantage of it. But for the most part, I don't play most of my strikeout props on FanDuel. DraftKings, which has been, I think, the most reliable, they do it only occasionally, but they will have pitchers that all the other places don't have. Of course, the one I'm looking for is the Pirates pitcher, and nobody has that, which is kind of annoying. So I like DraftKings the most. And then BetMGM is not as reliable. And I would say, look, I'm up usually 8:30 in the morning on the East Coast. It's usually most of the K props are up by then. So I don't know, earlier 7:30, whatever. But I would say by 8:30, most of the books will have their K props. They'll add 1 or 2 as the day goes along, based on lineups, based on information. But that's kind of how I look at it, based on the big, offshore or online sports books.
Okay, but they're not up overnight, Matt. You can't bet this at like 10 p.m. the night before. Okay.
Correct. Yeah, I wouldn't do that either if I was the books, because you could get exposed to big time liability if a pitching change is going to happen, or if the manager after the game says, "Oh, I'm starting so and so tomorrow, but I'm starting him for 2 innings," and the books have him up for a full 5 innings. There was a time that there was a big time error on Jack Flaherty with the last time he pitched against the Cubs. It was 3.5, and Jack Flaherty was only supposed to pitch 1 inning or 12 pitches. Well, 3.5. Even against the Cubs in 1 inning, like even the Cubs can't strike out 4 times in an inning. So that was a big time error that they left up, and I took advantage of it, and then they took it down. It was gone, like 30 minutes later. So yeah, they try and be as careful and cautious, because this, I think, is a market that's starting to expand a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. It's fun. It's fun to kind of tail there, guys. So if you are into betting strikeout props, check out Matt Joseph's at sportsmemo.com. Always got packages up. And he's pretty good at it, guys. So check him out. Matt Joseph, sportsmemo.com. One last game, best bets at the end. We're going to hit it quickly here. We get the Oakland A's, Seattle Mariners in the nightcap here, Tony. Frankie Montez versus Logan Gilbert. Near a pick'em price, 7.5 the total in the Pacific Northwest. You liking anything here? A's in
Well, I'll do a short quip on this game, and then I'll ask Matt a question. But if anyone's followed, this has been a pretty rough year for Oakland, second half year where their bullpen has imploded for the most part over the last month or so. They're facing a team that they've struggled against, believe it or not. Last week when they were in Oakland, Seattle swept them. And for Montos is really interesting. In fact, the pitching match is very interesting. Montos he's the first pitcher. Maybe Matt can tell me how many years on, but he's the first pitcher I think in 20 years or something like that to have 200 strikeouts in a season for the A's. And Montos, look at his game lines and look what he's done late in the second half of the season with K numbers that are impressive, to say the least. And back in July, right after the break, he had a couple against the Angels. Against Seattle, he struck out 10 in 6 innings. So that said, Gilbert's strikeout numbers, since he's kind of settled into that role of not being that rookie prospect anymore, and has contributed to this team's success, his numbers have gone up. I'm really interested after this over to ask Matt if he's looked at those strikeout numbers in the props. But in this game, Seattle's playing. They're playing for their playoff lives. Oakland knows, despite the fact that there's, whether they're mathematically eliminated quite yet, I haven't checked this morning, but it's tough for me to go against Montos. If anything, I really like the under in this game with the umpires pitcher friendly. So that would be my play in this. But I will succumb to Matt if he has any information on the strikeout totals these two.
Matt, have at it, man.
Well, I mean, the running joke, of course, on the show and in my Twitter account is anything involving Oakland. You usually go the other way. I mean, look, I like Gilbert, and clearly you could tell that Gilbert's not on any sort of reduction of pitches, because obviously they're still in the playoff hunt. So they're going to use arguably one of their best pitchers for as long as they can. He's had success. His number is 5.5. He's had some success. He had 5 against Oakland in 2 2/3 innings back in July. He has not gone over this number very often. He had that 9 against Boston at home, and if you notice, that's one of his 2 home starts this month. The other one's against Houston, and Houston barely strikes out. I would lean to Gilbert here. I would lean to the Mariners. As Tony said, they have more to play for here. But I don't have a good feel on Oakland games. I really don't. I wish I could give you guys more information, but I know the best thing I know is that I don't know Oakland games, and so whatever you two guys say probably is the direction I would go.
Hey, knowing your weakness is a big part of
yes, it is.
Keeping your bankroll in this business, Matt. So I respect that. It's good to know what you don't know, guys. Let's just put it that way. And it's time for best bets. So hopefully we know something here. 2-1, if not 3-0 night, hopefully coming. Tony Finn, check him out. WagerTalk.com, experts page, Tony Finn, chat box favorite here. Tony Slick Finn, Tijuana Tony. Tony just win, baby Finn. Give us a winner, Tony. Where are you going for best bets tonight, buddy?
Well, I'm going to go ask I'm going to do something different. I don't ever remember anyone doing such, or I haven't, and that is I'm going to recommend that you play a little 2-game same game or 2-team same game parlay. Really like Plesac in Cleveland tonight. This is a a nothing burger game. It's Kansas City. It's Cleveland. Maybe Kansas City has some incentive for a young pitcher like tonight that's pitching for them, and maybe Perez is going to try to reach 50 home runs in a season or lead both leagues in home runs. At where he's at right now at 47 is amazing. Great season for a 31-year-old catcher. At the plate for a team that doesn't have a lot of highlights per se this year. Plesac though has been, not only this season has he been good against Kansas City, but in his career he's been good. He's 6-0, I think, undefeated, never lost to Kansas City ever. Just one of those situations where a pitcher, even a guy like Plesac that doesn't really wow anybody with his four-seamer, has been tremendously successful against a team and this lineup as well. And the other side of this is not only do I like Cleveland and Plesac, but the 2-team parlay involves playing under 9 in this game. The umpire is pitcher friendly. It's a vet, and this is the deal. This time of year, guys, in a nothing burger game like this, if you get a veteran umpire who we're in the last weekend of, that's not a weekend yet, but we're in the last week of regular season baseball, especially this weekend. If they're not part of the playoff crew or part of the playoff crew that's going to, still be working after Sunday, then like anybody, we're humans. We want to go home. We want to make sure we make our plans. We want to make sure we might have plans with the kids and the wife, or a golf date with the boys to get drunk. Games will be, K-zones will expand. Plesac dominates, owns the Royals. Lynch has been a little bit better. He has really good numbers at bat, or at least batting average against. You can't go about his. He has a 5+ or almost a 6 ERA in his history against Cleveland this year, but he's been really good against that lineup under the 9. And Plesac in Cleveland at essentially a $1.20. So you can get a true probably 2-team parlay 5-1. There you go, Cleveland and under 2-team same game parlay.
Like it, Tony Finn. Guys, I got two plays on the card I bet tonight. 5% play up at WagerTalk.com. Best bet, also bet one here. My best bet for the show and a game that really matters. New York Yankees, Toronto Blue Jays, Garrett Cole on the hill. Near the pick'em price, I like the Yanks here. Hot team, winning 7 straight games. Lineup seeing it well. Better bullpen as well. So I will take the Yankees, keeping it quick here at the pick'em price. Looks like -107 is the best number right now on the Wager Talk odds screen. So Yankees, north of the border, get the W, -107 with the Yankees. Throw it over to mid-major. Matt, finish us off, buddy. Where are you going for best bets?
All right, so I said my card, which you can get on sportsmemo.com, is 3 overs and 1 under. This is the under here, and I'm going to take a shot. And look, this is a play that I got in early on because I got it at even money. It's not even money anymore, so you might as well wait. But I'm taking the under 6.5 strikeouts for Carlos Rodon tonight. The one thing I'm worried about and the one thing I'd like to see is I want to make sure what the Reds lineup looks like. We know that they got eliminated yesterday. They may play a bunch of minor leaguers, and then this play is not as good. But Carlos Rodon's dealing with some arm soreness. And Tony La Russa, after his last bullpen, basically expressed concern and didn't know what he was going to get from Rodon. And they asked him, they said, how long is he going to start? And he basically said, this is going to be the eye test. If the very first pitch doesn't look right, he may only last 3 or 4 innings. He may last 6 or 7 innings. But he's making a couple of starts since going on the IL with the arm soreness. He's only gone over 6.5 once. The Reds are 25th in K rate the last 2 weeks, 23rd on the road. I would wait because the evens and the plus monies are all gone. I would wait to see what the Reds lineup is. If it's not filled with minor leaguers, take a shot on under 6.5 on Carlos Rodon. If there is a bunch of minor leaguers in there, then you maybe want to pass on that one and take the Jose Berrios over for tonight. But if the Reds send out their A lineup tonight, I'm going to take a shot on under for Carlos Rodon. I think there's a chance he may only last 3 or 4 innings, and that means he's going to have to get 7 strikeouts in 9 outs or 12 outs, and I just don't think he's going to do it.
Fair enough. There's Matt Joseph's best bet as we got the Yankees minus 105 up to minus 107. Now we get the Tony Finn, Indians, Royals under 9 and Indians minus 115. Matt Joseph's Carlos Rodon under 6.5 strikeouts. Huge shout out to the chat box. Like always, Johnny Outlaw in the house. We had Plesek here, Daniel as well, Abby, Jessica, all of you, welcome in and thank you for joining us live. If you're watching on replay, feel free to leave a comment below. Let us know when you think the Cardinals loss is coming tonight, all the way to the World Series, anywhere in between. It all works. For Tony Finn, Mid-Major Matt, I am Drew Martin. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Come back and join us. Best of luck with your bets until then.
Why is our 269 October All Access special one of our best deals ever? Let us count the ways. 5 college football Saturdays, 5 NFL Sundays, full month of MLB playoffs, NHL starts October 12th, NBA season starts October 19th, plus any other sport your favorite handicap releases, all for under $9 a day. As an added bonus, sign up early and get the rest of September included for free.